who love you, what percentage of them would like me if they knew me? And
wait, say that again.
Out of 100 people who love you,
and love me
personally, you've got your followers, whether online or in real life, either way.
Okay, I don't like the word "in real life" as opposed to like online. That's like they don't exist. They're not real. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm just want to figure out, or see what our guesses are for the percentage of people who follow you. How do they feel about me? And the people who follow me, how do they feel about you?
Oh, it's very simple. This chat room is all the people that love me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now you said there's 100 people who love me.
Yeah,
right?
Let's say there's 100. What percentage would like me?
Five come into the chat room. Got it? If I was by myself, I might get 100, but because I'm with you, I only get 5.
Okay.
So there's your answer on that.
Okay, that'd be my answer the other way.
5%. No. Yours is of 100 people that like you, that follow you.
5, I'd say, like you.
None like me.
None
like me.
Maybe none, maybe 5.
None. The only one who ever comes in the chat room from your side is Rev Taco, and he does not like me.
That's true.
Okay? There's nobody.
I'm not aware of any of my followers that come into the chat room are like you. But I think there are some out there.
There's none. Nobody has made the jump from liking you to liking me. Your people are so filled with anti-Semitism that when they are confronted with real, authentic Jewishness from a rabbi, they don't want anything to do with it, and they run. Right?
We appeal to very different audiences. So it's interesting. Some people enjoy us together, but those people don't generally come from, either they were following me or you. They've come to what we've created together, and they enjoy it.
Okay.
But
that would be D-Medic.
But the people who've been reading me for years, they hate you.
Oh yeah,
and
absolutely.
And people who've been reading you for years, they're not so thrilled with me.
No, they absolutely can't stand you. You know what? I'll tell you something. One of the people that was into me.
Yeah.
Who's into me.
Yeah.
Spent some time in the chat room for a while.
Yeah.
And disappeared.
Yeah.
There's been a few people that have.
Yeah, quite a few.
But one of them wrote to me.
Yeah.
And they said, I just can't. I can't take Levi stepping in and changing the conversation to all his stupid pornography crap.
Right,
you know what I mean? It's like, I just want to go in, I just want to learn porn, I want to get out.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you can't do that here because, Levi's got to, hijack and go on and on and on forever.
Yeah.
Right. So, my crew, very hard to convince them, with you, right?
Yeah, I don't even try. I don't...
Yours can't handle it. I think just the fact... yours are so...
there's not a snowball's chance in hell that they would ever like you.
No. First of all, a lot of them are bigoted. Just the fact that they see me with the payas, that before I even open my mouth, they already hate me. They're so full of hate. Okay, that's number one. Number two is that I come into the last year and I immediately started saying, there's no room to deviate. The Torah, the Masorah, you can't step to the left or the right. And that's it. And I brought that in early on, and everybody left. It's like, wait a minute, this guy's not playing fair. What about my woman rabbi? She's fine. And it's like, what are you gonna do, right? So there's, oh, and another thing I did is I immediately trashed Dennis Prager. So that whole, but no, there is one person who jumped over. You know who likes me?
No.
What's his last name? Santa Maria guy. What's his name?
Oh, Adolfo, yeah.
He loves me.
Yeah.
You know why? You know why?
Because he's not Jewish.
Because he's not Jewish. He's a Catholic, right? So Catholics love me.
Yeah.
So, a big shout out to you.
I think the reason the show works is that both of us are primarily committed to the show.
Right.
It doesn't really matter to me as I sit here how much I like or dislike you.
Right.
It doesn't. That's secondary to me, to the show. Because as I sit here and I listen to you week after week, night after night, sometimes I'll go, oh, that was really funny, or that was really sharp, or that was really stupid, or that was really ugly. So I will go the whole spectrum. But for me, it doesn't really matter because I've worked in radio and I've worked with all sorts of people who I liked or didn't like. And you've worked in comedy, and I'm sure you worked with a lot of people you liked or didn't like, and it didn't really matter. If you had a show to do, you do the show. Right.
Oh, listen, I was in a cast of a dozen people.
Right.
I couldn't stand half of them.
Exactly.
I would never let those people in my house.
Yeah.
But it didn't matter. I did the show with them every week for 5 years. Who's the viewers? I just want to see who the fifth person is. Hit it, click it. Jewish Republicans back in.
Okay.
Jewish Republicans drive me crazy. Okay,
Can we go to the Pasha?
Sure. Hey, by the way, I think this is a good show, by the way. It's combative. You like combative, right? It's a little bit funny. We got some sex talk in there. All right. All right, we're on a roll. Keep going.
So this week it's the Torah portion Tetzei.
Can I just please, for those who are Ashkenazi, which is 80% of the Jewish people, it's Tetzei.
Okay. And Deuteronomy chapter 1:21 to Deuteronomy chapter 25. So I like reading the Torah commentaries of Orthodox Rabbi Beryl Wein. And he makes this point. So where in the Torah are we? We're getting up to the end of the book of Deuteronomy, the fifth book in the Torah. Jewish people are now about to become a nation in the land of Israel to establish their own government. They will have to fight many battles, bloody and painful, to establish their right to the land of Israel, to establish their sovereignty over the territory. They will need an army, they'll need a civil government, they'll need a judicial system, an economy, and a labor force, all the other necessary trappings that accompany nation building. So these demands will make many people think, oh, we don't have to worry so much about the spiritual yoke of the mitzvahs imposed upon us at Mount Sinai. So this kind of reminds me of, like, when my life gets really busy. It's like, when I have lots of time, it's fine to like take, long leisurely davening in the morning and long leisurely davening in the evening and like lots of Torah study, and like when my life's not busy, that's easy. But like when my life gets really busy, then it's like, it's a lot harder to follow the commandments. So the Jewish people's life is about to become a lot more busy as they try to create a nation state, rather than just wandering around in the wilderness with Hashem.
They don't even say wandering. They were just sitting and learning. Remember, 38 years, they did not even pick up and move.
Right.
Right? All the movement was in the last year and the first year.
Mm-hmm.
38 years in between, they just sat there. Where was the place that what was the name of the place? I forgot.
Kadesh Barnea?
I think it was Kadesh Barnea. Yeah. I think that's right. That sounds right. And they just sat there, and that's where they just learned. It was a yeshiva. And, we talked about this last week. They didn't sit, did they?
Right, they stood and walked around.
We should stand right now. Let's stand.
Well, we'll lose the camera.
Oh, okay, because standing is much better than sitting.
Yeah.
One of the worst things you can ever do is sit, right?
For long periods of time.
It's funny because we were talking about last week that, we were talking about this a couple weeks ago. The word yeshiva means sitting, right?
Yeah.
But the truth is, how were they sitting, you think?
Maybe on a bench or squatting.
Squatting, maybe on a rock or something. Yeah. That they weren't sitting on a traditional chair.
Right.
So we shouldn't think of these people sitting in yeshiva in a chair with a desk and a Gemara in front of them. Right. Because first of all, there were no Gemaras. Everything was oral. You can walk around talking orally, right? You don't need to sit in a chair. So the people in the desert, in my mind, were always like sitting in yeshiva, right? But they weren't. They were probably standing and walking around, which was very good for their backs.
Yes. Exactly.
Am I right?
Exactly.
Am I right?
Yeah.
You're going to use this as your highlight footage tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
And it's going to be on your new web page.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I dig it. So when I go to Torah.org now, there's this pop-up and it says, live chat, the rabbi is in. So I'm not used to chatting with rabbis on the internet. I'm more used to live pop-ups that say, hot new girls, talk to them now.
Is that what you really think about when you go to Torah.org?
Yeah.
You go to Torah.org and you're thinking, wow, this is different. This is really, yeah?
Yeah.
That's what's in your head?
Yeah.
God almighty. Okay.
So there are two wars in this week's Torah portion. The first war described in the beginning of this week's Torah portion is against an unknown, unspecified, and unidentified enemy. It is, to speak, a generic war fought for causes that are not clear and under undetermined circumstances. Second war in this week's Parsha is fought against a bitter, age-old foe, Amalek, and it is a war of
Amalek. Okay,
it's a
much
war
better.
of self-preservation. So the first war is not a mandatory one.
Right.
So the Torah professes it with the word im, which means if you go to war. Second war is one of the mitzvahs of the Torah. It is obligatory on all. It is to save Israel from the hands of an enemy whose sole intention is to annihilate us. War is therefore different not only in purpose and cause, but in intensity as well. So there's a rabbinic dictum, if one comes to kill you, then get up earlier, kill him first. So in our current world of relative morality and feel-good, wishful thinking pacifism, this mitzvah about